Let's cover entrance animations in bricks. There's quite a very simple way to do it, and it is very limited, unfortunately, but I'll show you how to get around that and add with a little bit of CSS, a bit more fine granular animations, all within Bricks Builder without any other plugin. So let's start. Basically what we want to do is to make a little bit of an entrance animation here on the cards. So I'll show you first how to do it just within bricks, and then I'll show you afterwards how with a little bit of CSS we can improve that. So let's just make a class animation minus fade minus in minus up, and then basically all we now do is to add stuff on that class and simply just on that class, and then when we are done with it, we can just assign this class to whatever we want to have this animation. We click on interactions up here, and in the interaction we just say whenever this element enters the viewport, and what we want to do is we want to start an animation, and here we can choose what animation we want to have. So basically we can look for fade and up, and that is the one, and then we can also say a duration and a delay. So let's add 0.2 seconds delay, and the animation duration we also want to set a rather quick duration because we don't want the website visitor to be waiting. And basically that's it. We don't need to do any extra steps. And now if you look at it from the front end, we can now see that the card fade in from the bottom. But if you look at it closer, it's also a very strong animation. And to customize that, we have to add a little bit of extra CSS. What we do is we still leave the trigger to enter viewport, but instead of an animation inside of Bricks Builder, what we want to do is we want to set an attribute. Let's say we call the attribute visible. Now, instead of Bricks Builder starting the animation when the element enters the viewport, it just adds this attribute to the HTML element. And how that helps is basically we can now trigger the animation whenever this attribute gets added to this class, because we also set the interaction to this class. So what we can do is we can write now here, whenever we have our root, so basically this class gets the attribute. For attribute we have to make this brackets. So whenever this animation fade and up class gets the attribute visible, we want to start our animation. Now we have no limitations at all on how to do the animation, so we can also just chat GPT for a very clean and smooth animation, or copy some animation from the internet. If you're really good at that, you can also write your own animations. But here's a very simple fade and up animation. So it starts from 30% down and then goes up. And then also for the fade in effect, we want to have the opacity at the start to 0, and then when it's finished to 1. To trigger that animation on the element, we add the animation. So the animation itself is basically 0.5 seconds long at the moment. We say this is the animation we want to have. So basically we named it up here, fade and up. So these two words need to be the same. And then here we can add a little bit of how the animation plays out. So this ease makes it so that in the beginning it starts a bit slower, goes faster, and then in the end it gets a bit slower. This looks typically a little bit more natural than just linear animation, which Bricks is currently doing. So whenever we are pleased with the settings here, we can hit save and then look at it on the front end, and we see here the animation is a lot cleaner, a little bit smoother, and we have full customizability over the animation.